Got to understand, the assignment for the World Series is win 4 games. Yeah. Not out-hit, not outscore, not set absurd records that'll never be broken again. That's all entertainment value. But the Dodgers understood the assignment. Win 4 games. Yeah.
Action! Welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt. Our angry, pugnacious podcast where we're going to rant because it's rant time. It's rant season. We're always going off topic.
Off topic. We're staying on topic today.
We're staying on topic today. Okay. Now, last week you wanted to go off about the World Series. You're upset about the post-game reaction to your Dodgers. And we're going to talk about the pending possible Major League Baseball job action lockout. And you're going to go first.
Well, first, like, subscribe, comment.
Yes.
Because we want to hear from you.
You, the listener.
The listener.
The viewer.
Yes. All 3 of you. We want more. Please reproduce.
Go ahead.
All right. So, World Series, one of the best World Series I think I've watched.
Unbelievable.
In my life. And I've watched all of them since I was about 5 years old. I've watched every World Series.
2001.
Yeah.
2016 and this one are the 3.
92. 92 when the Jays first won it was pretty exciting too.
That was exciting.
Yeah. The second one was good, but the first one was better.
Yeah.
This was, if not the best, one of the top 3 World Series, I think, of all times. And I think people really enjoyed the show. But at the end, when the Dodgers came back and won it, there was a lot of vitriol towards the Dodgers and buying a championship. Towards the Dodgers and the better team didn't win, right? Now, let's go look at the season stats. So over here, I've got the Major League standings, right, on my computer. The number 1 team in the majors last year was Milwaukee. Dodgers beat them. Number 2 team, Philadelphia. Dodgers beat them. Number 3 team, Toronto Blue Jays. Dodgers beat them. So I agree. The best team in baseball for the season did not win. Milwaukee got beaten by the Dodgers. Even the second best, Philadelphia, got beaten by the Dodgers. And the third best, the Blue Jays. That makes the Dodgers the best team. Got to understand, the assignment for the World Series is win 4 games. Yeah. Not out-hit, not outscore, not set absurd records that'll never be broken again. That's all entertainment value. But the Dodgers understood the assignment. Win 4 games, right? They were the best team in the playoffs. Hands down across the board. There was games, there was innings where the Jays were better. But the assignment being win 4 games, who came through? The Dodgers.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about payroll. Let's talk about payroll because this really bothers me. All right, I'm going to pull up another graphic I got here. See if we can get that on the screen there for
me. Sorry, quick. Are you going to need a timeout after this or what?
No, I'll be good. Because it's going to lead right into the strike talk that we're going to talk to, okay? So if scroll up just a touch, can you get that down just a touch there? There we go.
New York Mets.
New York Mets is at the top.
You can't see it at the graphic on there, but the New York Mets are on the top.
Right. So this is a 2024 revenue versus a 2025 payroll. The New York Mets revenue was $444 million. Their payroll was $400 million. 90% of their payroll went to of their revenue went towards their payroll. The Dodgers were number 2. $752 million. They had a payroll, luxury tax included, of $549 million, 73%, right? Toronto, who is in the playoffs, right there, 71.5. Philadelphia, 67.2. Arizona and San Diego, they were close, but they just didn't make it, right? You look at the teams that are going to make it in the playoffs are investing back in their teams. Now, I lived through the Frank McCourt era.
Yeah, terrible.
Of the Dodgers.
Terrible, in the 90s.
The Dodgers were a storied team, a franchise that had done so well and had hit such highs, and they sold to Frank McCourt and his wife. They then proceeded to dismantle the team. They were selling players to pay for their divorce because they're having affairs with their personal trainers, right? They absolutely demolished it to the point that Major League Baseball had to step in, take control of this storied franchise, and sell it to somebody that would care about it. The Dodgers were a shit show in the 90s.
It was terrible.
It was horrible.
They were throwing money at the team. Signed, who was it? Ken Brown, the big pitcher they signed?
Yeah.
And then the ticket prices went up, and he stinks opening day, and everyone's booing him. And it's like, why am I paying $20 more for my ticket? This guy sucks.
Yeah.
And the time he was doing that, the Yankees were winning all the World Series.
All of them.
Now, the Yankees, who I didn't really like, well, I didn't really care because my team had won and my team had just completely evaporated by that point, built from the ground up. Mm-hmm. They went able to get Jorge Posada. They got Derek Jeter because they had terrible seasons.
Yep.
They signed Mariano Rivera, 631 career saves for $1,500 signing bonus.
Yep.
They had scouts going out getting everybody. Broadway Bernie Williams they had.
Yep.
Scott Brocious, who was a third baseman, I think it was.
Yep.
And they traded for Tino Martinez, who was their first baseman. I can't remember who they traded for.
Remember they traded to get him.
Get him. Yeah, they traded to get him for somebody else. But basically, and Robinson Cano was their second baseman. They took a team that was crap for years while my team was winning, and they took the Yankees into dynasty era.
Yeah.
And then, as guys like Bernie Williams' knees gave out, they went and got free agents.
Yep.
And people said, well, they're buying their team. They're not, because they're taking, well, maybe they are, but they take the assets that they're buying and they use them properly to win.
Yep.
The Dodgers weren't doing it.
Nope.
The Red Sox weren't doing it. Neither Chicago team was doing it.
Nope.
These are big market teams.
Yep.
And with the problem, so now they had a work stoppage in 94.
Yes.
Because, Toronto in 92, 93, with a $75 million payroll, which was the highest in baseball at the time, were buying championships. But they traded for the right kind of players, and they moved assets, really good assets, to get even better assets that worked to win.
Yep.
So they had a work stoppage. They're going to bring in the luxury tax. And what happened with the luxury tax, and is there a rant, is the lower teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have been crap for years, and the Cincinnati Reds, who've been crap for years, they take that luxury tax money that they get from the Dodgers and the Red Sox and the Yanks and even the Jays, and they use it on their other businesses. They don't put it back into the team.
100%.
And they can use that team as a tax write-off. And that's why the Pittsburgh Pirates, with no one going to the games, makes more money, like averages out more money revenue, or makes profit than any other team in the league.
Exactly.
And now a work stoppage is going to change that. It's not.
Yeah. So the Dodgers sold, the Major League Baseball forced the sale. The Dodgers sold to the group that includes Magic Johnson. And they all a bunch of billionaires.
Yeah.
Right? Bunch of billionaires. They brought in Andrew Friedman, right? They said, we have to start at the minor league level and develop talent. We have to draft, we have to build. And they built, and this is all through the 2000s that they've built. And they've made trades, and they've made deals, and they've developed players and trade those players for assets like a Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
they didn't buy Mookie Betts. They traded for Mookie Betts.
Freeman? Freddie
Freeman, free agent signing, where they offered him the same as they offered, as Atlanta offered him, right? But with the opportunity to play in LA where he was from.
Yeah.
Right? So, they have this program that's working. When they went out and got Shohei Ohtani, 5 other teams.
Toronto was one of them.
Toronto was one of them. He was on the plane going to Toronto to sign the contract.
They gave him a T-shirt for the dog. They did everything they could.
6 other teams offered him the same amount. But what the Dodgers gave him was the stability that had been built over the last 20 years by the Magic Johnson group.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why players want to go there. They also invest money back into it. Now, you talk about that $700 million contract that Shohei got. The Dodgers got that back in sponsorship money out of Japan in the first year and a half.
Apparel sales.
Yeah. Sponsorship money out of Japan in a year and a half. They've already paid off that contract. Yeah. That money's sitting in the bank. It'll pay Shohei out later on. They're living off the interest on it.
Totally. And, George Steinbrenner, I drank the Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah, he's buying championships. And Jeff Blair, part of Blair and Barker on Sportsnet, was running for the Globe and Mail covering baseball all the time.
Yeah.
Great columnist. I don't care what you like about his TV. His writing in the Globe was lights out. And he goes, George Steinbrenner takes all this money from his baseball team and he throws it back in his baseball team. Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, all of those teams, these owners were worth more money than he was.
Yeah.
But they didn't put any money back into the teams, and he did, and that's why they're successful. Because he has a brand that's global, and Shohei went to the Dodgers really because it was the best fit for him.
Yes.
Not as a player so much, but as like an entity, as a marketing entity, because it's a global brand, and he can market Shohei and Shohei jerseys globally better as a Dodger than he could as a Jay.
Yeah.
And, I respect the decision. The Jays put their time in. They went for Yamamoto. Yamamoto went for somebody else. They got a few more Japanese players to put themselves in the mix. I'd like to see them go to different teams. It's getting a little tiresome with all going to the Dodgers.
Well, and here people are saying that this new guy coming that's supposed to be as good as Babe Ruth, that the Dodgers are just going to grab him. Yeah. The Dodgers aren't. They don't have a spot for him.
No, they don't need him.
He's a hitter.
The big swing and miss guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hitter, but they already got a DH. He plays third base, but they got Max Muncy there. They got Max Muncy for $10 million. You look at the big contracts for the Dodgers. You've got the Shohei, the Yamamoto, right? And that's it. Sasaki's not even a big one. He's a rookie.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, he's got rookie minimum. The Freddie Mookie deals are on par with anybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Will Smith is a steal. Right? Max Muncy's only getting $10 million this year. Right?
Kike Hernandez, who does nothing during the regular season.
He gets pennies.
He's the assassin in the
October,
postseason.
yeah.
Will Smith, he's one of the best catchers in the league right now. Him and Buster Posey were neck and neck.
Yeah.
They call him the silent killer, and he is. Like, look what he did. Like, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't say anything. He just does stuff. Like him and Kike, that you just don't notice until the last day. Like, oh my God, I hate you right now.
but and then you've got guys like Pages, right?
Right.
Who's just a machine in the field with an arm like a rocket, right? You got Teoscar Hernandez, who's finishing off his career just playing right field, right, and having a hoot out there. Like, they've got all these pieces around him, and they're developing Pages. You got Dalton Rushing. You've got guys that they could trade.
Alex Vesia.
Coming back. They got guys they could trade in the minors that are ready to play in the majors, but they don't have a spot for them because they developed so much talent into it.
Red Sox have an amazing farm system. The Yankees have an amazing farm system. They throw the money. You build a house, you start with the foundation.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And the Mets do the exact opposite, where they go out and they sign Juan Soto and, Bobby Bonilla Day and, whoever else for hundreds of millions. And it doesn't get them anywhere. And, talk about chasing the money. Juan Soto signed for more money with the Mets. Could have come to Toronto. And guess where he was in Game 7 of the World Series?
Watching it on TV. And that's the thing. Like, you could throw money at buy a team, or you could build a foundation and build a structure that over the last 20 years has paid off for the Dodgers to the point that they can afford a Shohei Ohtani to get that fancy piece.
Yeah.
To finish
and
off
honestly,
the house.
Shohei wasn't even that great in the playoffs. He was okay.
He had his moments.
But
that's a team sport.
It is.
And now, for all of you guys saying in Game 6, the ball got wedged in the wall there, that he should have just grabbed it or he could have just grabbed it. You can stab yourself in the eye with a fork too, but I don't freaking recommend it.
Yeah.
Right? That's baseball. That is a rule that's always been around. End of story.
Yeah.
But here's my point.
Even if it bounced, it's still a double.
Yeah, exactly.
But the funny thing was, I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. I'm sitting on my couch. The ball takes off like a rocket from Madison Barger. I'm like, go! What? Right in there. Like, huh?
Yeah, it was wild to see it happen, and it doesn't happen that often. So I understand why people are surprised by it.
Yeah,
but and then the next play, when they hit the pop fly to move him along.
Yeah,
Barger shouldn't have left the base.
No,
he took off way too fast. I think he thought for sure it was going to drop in front of Kike. He gambled and he gambled wrong. Right,
and he's and he's a kid.
Yeah,
and it's his first major league season, and he wanted to win a World Series. And if he drops that ball, he's going home.
Yeah, they win the World Series,
and then win the World Series. So the Jays had 20 innings to win that series. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it took the Dodgers 8 games plus 2 innings to win that series.
Yes,
with their payroll.
100%. Even leave the payroll out of it.
And the better team won, because the better team is the one that holds the trophy at the end of the series.
4 games.
Yeah.
Got to win 4.
Got to win 4. And they did it. So they're the better team.
And you got to give the Jays all kinds of credit, because
They
went to the mat and they fought.
They threw everything but the kitchen sink, and they just couldn't win it. They couldn't win it. They could have won it, and they couldn't.
Yeah, and the Dodgers made the plays. But back to the payroll thing, right? Is that people are young, they need a salary cap. Dodgers are ruining baseball, they need a salary cap. Look at this stats one more time here, okay? Look at the stats at how many of the teams are above the 50% of their revenue. 9.
That's it, out of 30.
9 out of 30, right? The Pittsburgh Pirates have announced they're going to add $30 million to payroll. That's not even going to put them up to 40%, right? These teams, if you want to be there to be parity in this sport, you need to put a floor in before you put a ceiling.
Oh, and it's the thing that drives me nuts about the talk about a salary cap. It's the owners that sign the players.
Yes.
It's not the players that sign the owners.
Yeah.
So you want a salary cap because you can't control your own spending or you don't want to spend any money?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. You're the problem.
Yeah.
Like, the problem starts with you.
Yeah.
And if you look at the 4 teams that went to the championship series, LA, biggest team in America next to the Yankees, I guess.
Yep.
California's 40 million people in California. Not all of them are Yankees or Dodger fans, but whatever. It's a big market. Toronto, not a big market. Seattle, not a big market. Milwaukee, not a big market.
Yeah.
And where were one of the Chicago's, which is a very big market, sort of made it, but not really.
They were there.
They were there, but they didn't go very well. The White Sox, who has the same owner that owns the Chicago Bulls, the Bulls were winning, but the White Sox never won.
No.
You look at
31.6%.
31.6%. I mean, look over. St. Louis technically is a large market team because the whole southern U.S. are all Cardinal fans, right? Houston's a big market. Texas is a big market.
Yeah.
And they have the brand.
Yeah.
San Diego, Anaheim, these are bigger cities than Toronto, Seattle, and Milwaukee. The San Francisco Giants, that's the big market up there. All in Northern California love the Giants.
Yep.
Arizona, you got a whole state just like Toronto. Toronto Blue Jays were terrible for a long time. The Pat Gillick, Paul Beeston era ended. S.A. Interbrew bought out Labatt's. They didn't want this baseball team. The strike happened. Nobody cared anymore. Skydome emptied out. There was a time when there were 10,000 fans a game going to Jays games. It was embarrassing.
You buy a ticket for $5.
It was embarrassing. I took my son to a game once. It was like, he was 13, so 23 years ago. I went to a scalper and I got a discount from the scalper to get. I paid less than I would have paid had I gone to the box office.
Yeah.
You couldn't give the tickets away. And Ted Rogers ran Rogers Communications, was kind of nuts. And they had a theory going, because I know people that worked for them and went to the corporate head office meetings. Just make sure the team's good enough so people care, but we don't have to put that much money into it.
Yeah.
They wanted to find this ridiculous balance, and it didn't work. Right? And they hired J.P. Ricciardi, which is it was crap. Mm-hmm. Dave Dombrowski, they begged him to come play for him, run the team for him. He wouldn't touch it.
No.
And then Ted Rogers Jr. takes over. He goes, I want this team to win. And he's standing up there getting, with the team, with the championship trophy for the pennant.
Yeah.
And he's seeing an entire country watch his team, and that's good for his brand.
Yep.
So that's why he's like, I could be Canada's team. This is good for my brand. It's kind of like in our last segment, we talked about Notre Dame. They tie education in with football. It helps the football team.
Yep.
Because the guys graduate, they get good jobs, they throw money back into the football team. If you throw money into the Jays, and everybody across Canada watches the Jays, that's good for Rogers' brand. So Rogers, it's win-win for Rogers.
Yep.
He's spending money to make money. The old man didn't want to do it. The son wants to do it. He gets it. You have to put money in. Salary caps and labor lockouts are going to just ruin the whole thing.
And that's what we're looking at now.
That's what we're looking at now. And it's like, how, in God's name, they don't have Sunday Night Baseball. They had Sunday Night Baseball with Joe Morgan and John Liverspot Face. What was his name? The old guy that loved Barry Bonds. Yeah. John, he's dead now.
I don't
They did it for 40 years. That Sunday Night Baseball.
It was fabulous. Every Sunday night, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, there was a game on. And he talked, they'd go against Cleveland. I think they had Jim Thome or something. And Joe Morgan would go out there, talk power hitting with Jim Thome.
Yeah.
Never had the Jays on. Jays were winning World Series. The Jays never got on. No one talked to Joe Carter about all the RBIs and the home runs he was getting. But they still had it. And then the strike happened, everything changed.
Yeah.
People stopped watching. It nearly ruined baseball. They nearly had a second strike or something, and people are like, "This is going to kill baseball."
Wow.
You do this, you will kill baseball. People aren't showing up. There was a time in the 70s, my lowly Expos, or the 80s, would show up in September in St. Louis to play against the Cardinals. Both teams are 10 games out. It's pouring rain outside, and there's 35,000 fans in the stands. Those days are over.
Yeah.
It'll never, ever come back. Even in St. Louis, it's never going to happen again. And you cannot mess what you have. You had an amazing World Series. 50 million people between Canada, the US, and Japan watched that series. You're never going to get that again. Baseball, NFL is going down to Brazil, and they're going to Europe to increase their brand, and they're already worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
100 million people watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's double what's watched the World Series. Now, granted, it's one game. They play one time a year. It's a little easier to follow football because it's Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Thursday. So it's way easier to market, right?
Yeah.
And it's a different kind of sport where you get a Lamar Jackson. People tune in to see Lamar Jackson carry a team. It doesn't work that with baseball. It's just different, right?
The difference, 18 games versus 162 is the big thing.
And it's the structure of the game, too, is completely different.
It is. But the other thing is it's like Major League Baseball hates their fans.
Oh.
They make it hard for you to watch your team.
Oh.
I would pay a monthly fee to be able to see every Dodgers game.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no place that I can do that.
No.
Right? Major League Baseball got everybody to pay $5 to be able to watch their favorite team, all the games. People would pay it, and they'd rake in cash, but they make it so difficult for you to watch your team play. And now that when you get a winning team, it's not the $5 ticket in Toronto. It's a $500 ticket to sit in the nosebleeds in LA.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! You got to make things affordable that people want to do it. You can't break the bank to just go to a baseball game.
And, I paid $249 a year to get Sportsnet Plus on my phone when I was in California to watch the Jays. It's only good in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, what's that crap? Come on. Like, it's a satellite in outer space.
Yeah.
Like,
make it available. So when you go look at this labor lockout, they're going to talk about a salary cap. They need to talk about a salary floor. They have to talk about a salary floor. These teams that are making $300, $500, $400 million a year and only investing at 35% back into the
Miami,
team.
27%. Miami's a bigger market than Toronto is.
And you're saying, well, there's only so many players that are worth it. They can't just overplay players to put their revenue back into. No, you start at the minor leagues. You build a system of development. You build a brand that people want to come to.
You go and get the proper scouts that will go down to the Dominican leagues and find the 17-year-old kid. And sometimes politics runs in. Major League Baseball sat down with Cuba, and they worked out a deal where Cuban players can come get drafted or signed in the Latin American draft and come play in Major League Baseball, and then half their signing bonus goes back to the Cuban League.
Right.
Trump came on and killed it because it's child trafficking, because they're 16 years old.
Yeah.
It's like they're getting $1 million.
Yeah.
They're just playing baseball, and they screwed that up. So there goes all the Cuban players. So that hurts the brand. But that's an exception, right?
You start at the base, and you build a good foundation. That's what the Dodgers did. They didn't come in when they brought in Magic Johnson and that whole group there, the Gundahan group, and they brought all this money into the team to build the team. It wasn't at the player level. And I, as a fan, I was like, what the heck? Let's go get some good guys, right?
Yeah. You're like, no, we're drafting.
They started off with building their development system. They started off with building their scouting system. They started off with building a base to grow off of. And now you talk about a small market team. With this instant access internet era, there is no small market team.
No.
All these teams, all these areas could be big teams if they invested in their team. So
I'm going to check something, because I know Dodger Stadium is 52,000 people.
Yes.
Let's see. And then the Jays are 36, something like that?
Yeah.
Fenway, 37,000 people, 755 people. Yeah. 37,755,000 people can get into Fenway.
Yeah.
It's not a big place.
Yeah.
It's not.
So the Miami Marlins $317 million they made last year in revenue. Their payroll is $86 million.
It's pathetic.
It's pathetic.
It is.
But when the Marlins were good and they were in the playoffs and they were pushing, their payroll was a lot higher. They were one of the higher payrolls that they were accused of buying teams.
Well, they did. They went and got a bunch of free agents like Bubba Winnie, but
they invested in it.
They got lucky, and then the problem is the next day they sold everybody after they won the World Series, and then they disappeared again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pat Gillick, when he took over Toronto in 1970 whatever, it was a joke. They're playing Exhibition Stadium. There was this joke team owned by this brewery in Toronto somewhere, the Mistake by the Lake at Exhibition Stadium. I saw games. Horrible. He had a guy named Epi Guerrero who was his Latin American scout. Everybody hated Epi Guerrero. He was an asshole. Everybody hated him. But Pat Gillick, being Pat Gillick, who doesn't give up on guys, he's drafted guys that end up in prison. He would visit them in prison. He refused to give up on people.
Right.
He knew Epi Guerrero had a touch. And he managed Epi Guerrero. And he went down to the Dominican. And they started mining Dominican players long before anybody else did. Damaso Garcia, George Bell, Tony Fernandez, guys that built the foundation that you talked about. They clinched in 85. They kept battling. We had Bobby Cox as his manager. He was, a Hall of Fame guy. He's 100 years old. Finally won it in 1999. And they kept building. And then, of course, when Labatt's got bought out by Interbrew, things changed. He read the writing on the wall. Then that's when he left.
Yeah.
Everything fell apart. But a lot of times this comes down to leadership. And that's ownership.
Yeah.
And we have the leadership now. The Dodgers finally have it. Texas, the Rangers, when Nolan Ryan bought the team with, a private equity fund, they started making the playoffs and went to the World Series like 3 times.
Yeah.
They had the leadership. The guys that understood, hire good people to do their job and get out of the way.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh doesn't want to do that.
No.
He wants to take all of the, luxury tax money and put it into his other businesses. Kansas City does the same. Miami, they don't care about the baseball team, and that's the problem. And a labor lockout and a salary cap isn't going to change that.
No.
And it's just going to kill baseball. They have so much goodwill right now, and they can't get proper TV deals. They're going with Netflix and YouTube and ESPN. And I think NBC's coming along, and it's completely fragmented. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And baseball, they had Faye Vincent, they had Bartlett Giamatti running it properly, and Faye Vincent, suspended George Steinbrenner when he was hiring private investigators to investigate guys like Dave Winfield and, threatening players to fights and stuff. And he did something about it. He did his job, and they fired him for it. And then they brought in Bud Selig, the used car salesman, who for some godforsaken reasons in the Hall of Fame, who was looked the other way during the steroid era.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what is going on? The problem starts at the top. You don't need a labor lockout. You need to sit down and talk to the owners. Stop doing what you're doing. And you have money, so spend it on your team like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And there's going to be winners and losers.
Yeah. And I think that's the 100% is going to have to be the number one thing to start with is the salary floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The investment into the team. And the investment has to be at the minor league level to develop players that are going to come in and play. I also think there needs to be, like you sign a rookie contract, you're with that team for 4 to 5 years in the NFL, right? You got to sign a rookie contract with Major League Baseball, you're locked to that team for that period of time. They've got to make it so that the almighty dollar isn't the driver here, that the development of players is the driver.
And Paul Skeens is in Pittsburgh. They got lucky because he was the best player in the draft. They had the first pick.
Yeah.
And he can't wait to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
The kid's a Cy Young, Rookie of the Year and a Cy Young winner. And he's throwing it in front of 12,000 people.
Yeah.
And people are making fun of his girlfriend because she has sweaty armpits. Like, who the hell? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like.
So, but I think that's about the last we're going to have for baseball this year.
Until Bo Bichette gets signed.
We'll talk about that.
Bo. Yeah. Come back, Bo.
Yeah.
Where have you gone, Bo Bichette? We turn our lonely eyes to you.
All right. So, once again, like, subscribe, comment. Off topic, Tim and Matt. And next week, me and Tim are going on a road trip.
Ooh.
We're going to watch the Oregon Ducks play the Washington Huskies. We'll have pictures, we'll have highlights, and we'll have stories to tell.
Sponsored by Panda Express. We're going to Panda Express.
We're just eating there. We're not really paying for anything. So once again, join us next week where Tim and Matt go
off topic.